All right. Welcome to Virtual TrekCon 6. Woohoo, woohoo. I can't believe it's 6 already.
I know.
Hope everyone has been having a fabulous time, enjoyed Star Trek and Chill and the opening ceremonies and all the wonderful stuff that has come before this. And I joined here with my co-host, Jenny R. Johnson, wonderful artist extraordinaire. I'm Melissa Longo. But today we are interviewing a wonderful, wonderful guest, Melanie Smith. You all know her as Zyial from Deep Space Nine, but some of you may have also known her from her role on Seinfeld.
Shrinkage.
Amazing. Shrinkage. Iconic.
Shrinkage. So thanks so much for joining us and being a part of Virtual TrekCon, Melanie. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for having me, ladies. And you talented, as we talked about just a moment ago, you talented artists, both of you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
That's lovely. Yeah. Thank you.
And we met in person at a convention in New Jersey, the Creation Trek Tour.
Oh, fantastic.
And Melanie came up to my table and she bought a shirt. And I was like, after she bought a shirt, I was like, Zyial just bought a shirt. Zyial just bought a shirt. And then she came back and bought another one. I was like, oh my gosh, Zyial just bought another shirt. It was fantastic.
And I would have bought more if you had the colors in my size. I was like, that one in my size? Can you get that one in my size? You're like, no, I hand paint them all.
Yeah.
Although somebody came up to me at the conference and they're like, how many of those blazers do you have? Right? The velvet I wear at all the conferences because like it's cold in there sometimes.
Yeah.
Like about 1,000. And it worked with your t-shirts perfectly. So you are such a treasure.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think I would like to start the conversation off asking how you got into acting and what was the catalyst for that?
It is the craziest story you'll ever hear. Do you really want to hear it?
Amazing.
It's not short, but it's kind of worth it.
I love it.
It's great.
So I was living in New York and my best childhood friend was working for an agency called Triad. And she was supposed to send 3 girls on a talent search for Dick Clark. You guys are too young to know who Dick
No, yes, we do.
And she said, I need you to go, I need you to go. And I was a dancer when I was younger, and I was actually a very good dancer.
Oh, cool.
And I said, I'm not dancing now. I have bursitis in my left hip. I can't. And so she said, well, I don't care what you do. Read from a book. I'm going to get fired if I don't send 3 girls. So I pulled a book off my bookshelf, literally. It was called Texas Trilogy. I don't even remember why it was on my bookshelf. And I found the longest paragraph that a character was sort of talking or thinking or whatever. And I went to, oh God, I don't even remember now. What was Dick Clark, ABC or NBC? He was ABC, right?
Feels like ABC, yeah.
So I went to ABC.
I think so.
And there were thousands, like 5,000-6,000 girls there. And I was like, great, I'm just going to sign in. I'm just going to read from the book. I'm going to get out of there. And then she won't get fired. So I read from the book and I was about to leave. And the judges were Dick Clark, Mary Jo Slater, Christian's mom.
Oh, yep.
Mary Lynn Henry, who was head of casting for ABC. And they said, could you come over here for a second? And I was like, oh, what's up? And they said, we'd like you to see this acting coach and we'd like you to see this photographer. And I was like, why? Like, I gotta go home. Because you're making it to the next round. So I get home and I call my friend Lisa and I'm like, what the did you get into? I don't think I support this thing, right? So I go back. I'll shorten it a bit. I had to go back a couple times. She's like, you can't drop out of this. So finally, it was down to, I think, like the top 25. Only 10 were making it on air. And it was a big prize. It was like $500,000 and a film contract and it was a televised talent search.
Oh my God.
So I go, maybe it was the top 100. And we go to this, like, I want to say it was like New York City Ballet's rehearsal space or something. And these major film stars were there. They were judging it. And there was like a bathing suit competition. And I was standing like this, like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is so bananas. So the next day, my boyfriend calls me and he says, did you see the New York Post? And I'm like, no. He goes, get the New York Post. And I go, and I'm on the front page of the New York Post, like this. And it says, Melanie Smith, she's got the right stuff. And the next thing I know, these casting directors are calling me in. Alice has me send out 25 headshots to 25 of the top agents. They all call me in. I have to go back and read monologues for them. I'm serious. Like, my resume says Melanie Smith, 5'5", hazel eyes. That was on my resume. There, that was it. So there was a monologue I would do. It was from Mademoiselle Cologne. And at the end of the monologue, she says to her husband, you have no idea how uncomplicated life is without you in it, right? And you were supposed to leave and go sit in the waiting room to see what the agents, your feedback, they'd call you back in. But I got in a cab each interview and I went home because I figured if they liked me, they'd find me. And if they didn't, I didn't want to hear it, right? So all 25 agents called me to sign me. And then...
Wow.
Yeah, and I went to meet with the agent that I was signing with, and they were giving me this like talk. They were so serious. They were like parents. I was young. I was in my early 20s. They're like, you just have to understand, you're going to have to work for free. It's going to take years. And I go, here's the deal. I don't work for free, and you have 3 months. That's it. And within 3 months, I had 2 feature films and As the World Turns, which I starred on for 4 years.
Amazing. Oh my
That is literally. So when I got As the World Turns, I started filming my first day. And I got through like the first week, and you film the week before, and you film a whole script in one day, which is bananas, right? And so I get through and I see my first episode on air, and I go, "Oh my God, I am so bad." I don't know how to act. So I call Neighborhood Playhouse, which is a conservatory in New York, and I go and I meet with them, and I'm like, you don't understand. You have to help me. I don't know how to act, and I have a 3.5-year contract with CBS, and I am on every day. Like I have the biggest storylines on there, and they put together a program for me. And I'm very proud of this. I worked so hard, and by like my second year, I had been nominated for Most Outstanding Heroine, Best Actor, and I won a People's Choice, Most Valuable Performer. And I was like, the pride in that is not getting. It's like taking it seriously, and that's right. That's in some ways my philosophy on life. Like the universe doesn't always pick who's qualified, but it will always give you the opportunity to qualify who it picks, right? Like if you have opportunity, never say you're not ready. Just say yes and then figure it out.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Honestly, that became my career for over 20 some years.
Yeah.
I became very, very successful. I turned down more roles than I accepted, but I worked for 20 years. And I got to tell you, that is all because I just said yes. And I really wanted to say no. I'm like, I know nothing about this.
Oh,
So that's a spiritual story, by the way. That's a very
Yeah,
spiritual,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
good
Oh, I
question.
love
such a
that.
great philosophy
I
of
need to write that
life.
down.
No, it is. I mean,
Mm,
and it reminds me of improv, the yes and
It's the yes and
mhm,
philosophy,
mhm,
which is, I mean, not it's something that I'm recently learning with the passing of my husband.
mhm.
And
oh, sorry.
this is something that I am embracing, I think probably for the first time, maybe not.
Mhm,
But yes, I love that. Yes, and yes,
mhm,
yes, yes.
And
mhm.
everything's
Yeah.
part of the curriculum. The good,
Right.
Right.
it's all part of the curriculum. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
think that everything is supposed to go well. And if everything goes
Yeah.
well, we're doing it right. Right?
Mhm.
But the truth of the
Yeah.
matter is everything's going exactly as it should be going. It's how you
Mhm.
interpret. If
Yeah.
you
Right.
interpret everything as you are doing this for me, right?
Mhm.
You're doing this through me, so you can help me be me.
Mhm.
That's the philosophy of life. I mean, I've had a lot of loss in my life, which is where my
Mhm.
book came from. And embracing loss is profoundly valuable and more valuable than embracing the joys in life. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying we don't have to embrace the joy full-heartedly,
Yeah.
Right.
but you do want to learn how to embrace the heartache too.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Oh,
can we talk about your book a little bit? Since you
yeah.
just brought it up. Yeah.
Of
Tell
course,
us
of
a little
course.
bit about your book.
Well, the book was real labor of love, labor all caps. It's not easy to write a book, and
No.
yeah, it's not easy to write a book. And if you don't have something pressing to say,
Mhm.
it's quite arduous. But I had to tell this story, my story of loss, because I had quite a bit of loss in my life from
Mhm.
birth, really. And and the process that I've used on my clients that I coach individually and in group coaching has helped so many people, hundreds one-on-one, thousands in groups. And seeing that palpable change in people's lives, I started realizing I can't get to everyone, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Right.
so the book needed to be created. And so I
Mhm.
wrote, it's called Unfinished Business, 8 steps to heal, transcend your trauma, heal your trauma, transcend your past, and transform your life.
Mhm.
That that was such, it literally sort of downloaded to me.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love that. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
husband says, like, I don't know how you sat like that because I don't have that personality. I don't have a personality that can sit still, let alone at a computer
Mhm.
Mhm.
every day for 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
And once
Mhm.
the book downloaded, I never sat like that again,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
right? I didn't do it
Yeah.
before. I haven't done it since.
Mhm.
You know that was a mission that my spirit kind of had to bring into the world. So yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I've the feedback has been beautiful, and it's gotten all 5-star reviews, which has been wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was very special.
Mhm.
And then I kind of felt everything go like you don't have to do that again. But
Oh.
I think
Mhm.
we did talk a little bit about that, right, at the
Mhm.
convention about the book and
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
it.
and also you did an interview with the Seventh Rule reviewing the last episode that Zyial was in.
Mhm.
And I think we talked a little bit about it then as well. But
Yeah,
it's a good refresher for everyone. So go look for her book.
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. So yeah.
Mhm. Oh, that's wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you guys are creative, so you're not creative.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and
It's true.
as you get older, as an actress, as you get older,
Mm,
the roles are fewer and far
sure.
farther,
Mhm.
and the ones you really want to play are not right.
Right.
There's definitely roles out there for older women, but a lot of them you just don't want to play. You know,
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
Is there a role that out there that you haven't played yet that you kind of would jump back into acting for?
Mm.
um, there are shows. Would I have loved to have been on Succession? Hell yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, talk
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
about a show. I mean, the acting. Oh, sorry if I don't know how to turn that off, but
It's
Oh.
um,
okay.
the acting and the writing on that show, or maybe The Bear.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not
Hmm.
sure which role I would have played in that. Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis's role.
Oh, yeah.
Of
Best
course.
acting she's ever done, and I love Jamie Lee
Oh,
Curtis.
she's
Um,
Yeah,
incredible.
she was
she is.
incredible, and like on Succession,
Hmm.
any role, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I would, I would have played Logan if I could have.
Amazing.
So many of my
Amazing.
favorite actors, Jeremy's
Hmm.
an Oscar now. So, but
Right?
yes, roles like that, I think
Yeah.
I would have, Amy Adams in Hillbilly Elegy. There's some
Mm.
Mhm.
really incredible roles that have been played by women recently, younger,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did
So
you
Starsh.
find, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go
Just,
ahead.
just, yeah. Did you find sort of transitioning out of acting? Did you find because I mean, it wasn't your original plan, right? Like, did you find the transition to doing something else? Was that like a painful transition, or were you kind of like, did it sort of feel organic to you? Like did it?
I think because it was my choice to leave
Mm,
acting and raise my
yeah,
child, and I had a lot of other tools kind of in my tool belt. I
right.
was an advanced yogi, and I did have my cert to teach. And I had been immersed in the spiritual healing bioenergetic world for so long
Hmm.
that it felt very on track for me because my next adventure, right,
Hmm.
was to open a wellness center.
Right.
Mm.
I had that for quite a long time. I think that was one of the most profoundly powerful parts of my life,
Oh,
to
great.
Wow.
Yeah.
create and to produce product,
Mm,
Yeah.
trainings and so on and so forth for people seeking to live at a higher level. And
yeah.
Yeah.
so, in a lot of ways when you're on mission,
Hmm.
like I always say, when you hit mission, you just get on your tracks and they're greased, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
When you're off mission, there's like there's a lot more friction. And
Hmm.
when I opened Yogaphoria, which was my wellness center, I mean, we opened to standing room only, which
Wow.
nuts. And I didn't think that was going to happen because all the press that we had put together for that
Hmm.
was overshadowed because there had been a police officer killed.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And it took over the news. So everything that was
Mhm.
supposed to happen to push the opening of my studio just went away. And I was like,
Hmm.
Hmm.
oh, what's going to happen now? And again, see, this is like divine order.
Right.
Oprah's producers called and they said,
Wow.
you were our favorite episode on Seinfeld. We're doing
Ah!
reunion Thursday. Can we?
Oh my God.
And I was like, sure. But could you do me a favor? Let the
Hmm.
networks know what I'm doing. And then
Yeah.
they all even did like a 10-minute piece on my opening
Oh my
and
God.
just open to standing room only. And then within, I don't know, and this was pre Facebook,
Hmm.
we
Mhm.
had within 6 months, we had like 30,000 in our unique customers just coming through the door. So that was an incredible journey too. So there's a couple of answers to that. I think professionally, I moved into something that was very meaningful for me.
Yeah.
But the business does do some weird stuff to your head.
Right.
It makes you think things about yourself in life that aren't they're not only not true, they're not useful.
Right.
Like it's not useful to think that, to be put on a pedestal, right?
Right.
For you in any way. It's useful to get like a table faster,
Yeah.
right? Or to get like an extra glass of wine in first class airline.
Yes.
Right? Sure, but not really useful. It becomes, I think, a sort of weight if you don't know well. I mean, look at people who come off of series and sort of never work again,
Right.
go into this like decline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's just change your archetype, find else you can be. There's so many parts to us, live through all of them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I guess that can kind of give you the mistaken idea that this is the pinnacle. This is it. This is the best it's ever going to be.
Right.
And then if it ends, then what's next?
Yeah.
Like-
and do you want to find yourself singing in a grocery store?
Yeah.
Right.
Or do you want to learn something new?
Yeah.
Right.
Something new.
Yeah. Oh, I have
Right.
goosebumps.
Or-
Yeah.
It
Look
gives
at
you the
some-
illusion this is what success is supposed to look like. And if you haven't gotten this ideology, then you're doing something wrong, when successes are what we make of it.
100%.
Yeah.
And how we perceive it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
People say to me, like, you left the business? Why would you do that?
Mm.
I had a child. And
Yeah.
my child, who's extraordinary, needed me as a mother. And I knew it
Yeah.
in the depth of my soul. Well, do you regret it? Why would I regret it?
Mhm.
Now, if I didn't leave and my son was an asshole,
Huh.
Right.
but my son is
Yeah.
extraordinary. And I know it's because I was there for him. Not to say that everybody needs to be there every day for their son, but my relationship with my son was very organically that.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think if you're booted out of the industry or aged out of the industry, you have a feeling about yourself and
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. Oh.
But
Oh.
I think, like, we are here to learn everything we can.
Right.
If you just keep harping on the fact that, like, you're not doing that thing anymore, maybe you're not meant to be. Maybe
Yeah.
you're meant to learn something new, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Melanie, I really like you. Oh my God.
I like you back.
Like, wow.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful.
I'm so happy. Oh my God. More of this. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So- I'm going to talk about Zyial a little bit,
Yeah.
since this is a Star Trek convention. But my first question would be, and I can't remember if we've asked this question of you before, but it doesn't matter. Did you watch Star Trek? Were you a Star Trek fan before getting cast as Zyial?
No, I was an original Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a TV watcher.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wasn't, once I left my family home, I wasn't a TV watcher,
Right.
which my agents they were never quite happy about. But it did serve me in the audition.
Yeah.
So I was, when I was a kid, I loved Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a crush, of course. I loved Star Trek, and the show, and it was so out of the box. And I think two of the biggest shows when I was growing up were Star Trek and Twilight Zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Very edge. Like nobody had seen anything like that before. And Lost in Space,
Yes. Yeah.
like crazy ideas. So it was very exciting. And then, like I said, after I left my family home, I really wasn't a TV watcher.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then, so when I got called in for the producer session, I knew nothing about Torah. And I was like, I walked in and everybody was in combat gear and I was in a sundress. And I went, whoa, I got this wrong. Oops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I stayed with it. I played her as a child, as an innocent,
Hmm.
just like
Yeah.
filled with love and hope and promise and, like the daisy through the concrete, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't. I don't think I ever saw an episode of any of them until, yeah, like,
Wow.
Wow.
So and you took that role over having had like because it was played by two other actresses. Am I right about that? Is
Mhm.
yeah, before
Yeah.
that. So you didn't see their performances. It wasn't
I didn't
like
even know
that's
I was taking over a role.
yeah, that's great.
Great. Yeah. That's great.
Really. Oh.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember I sat at like I kneeled, I kneeled down at Mark's feet,
Mhm.
Yeah.
oh father kind of thing,
Yeah.
This young girl that just wanted her father's love. I didn't look at her as being, angry or
Mhm.
tough.
Yeah.
I just looked at her as you ladies, an artist that wanted to
Yeah.
bring peace through her art and
Mhm.
love and like she was like Kate Ashbury, man, minus the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what made her so special. I mean, she really like the impact that character had was
Mhm.
huge because it was this just this bit of beauty in the midst of a
Yeah,
lot of, dark stuff. Like,
and
Yeah.
it's what made it that sort of juxtaposition when she dies,
mhm.
Right.
when they finally express their love for one another,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think a harder Zyial would have brought that out of her father as much
No.
as it did, or touched him in the way that she did. She obviously had a profound effect on Dukat, which nobody did
No,
really.
exactly.
He didn't really
Exactly.
care about anybody else except for himself and Zyial.
Mhm.
And it's funny, it goes to show that everybody somewhere is tender,
Mhm.
Right.
right? And whether it's
Yeah.
like your dog or your child or
Yeah.
dad or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, whatever, something brings out the tenderness in
Yeah.
people. Just
Mhm.
even curmudgeony of which my dad sure was.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. Mm.
So,
Mm.
um, what was maybe your biggest takeaway from playing Zyial? I mean, did she reveal anything to you that maybe other roles didn't?
Well, one of the things that I loved in general about playing Ziyal is it's easy to get pigeonholed or stereotyped in the
Mm.
business.
Hmm.
Play the strong, sexy, you know, funny sometimes, but
Hmm.
typically always strong, sexy, or troubled, sexy, or
Hmm.
always sexy in there, right?
Yeah.
With
Right.
and, back in the day, because they look for that. It's like
Mhm.
Mhm.
casting looks for that. They
Right.
say the four stages of an actress is like, get me, who's Melanie Smith? Get me Melanie Smith.
Mhm.
Get me a
Hmm.
young Melanie Smith. Who's Melanie Smith, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's always something that, like, that's the girl that plays that. And so
Yeah.
playing, and I imagine anybody on Star Trek, I'm not just saying it's only for someone like Zyial, but it gave me the freedom to feel different parts of myself. But also it gave me the freedom to think, what if I wasn't human?
Right.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
where do I have sensations from? Is it a human experience? I mean, I'm not even speaking a language that I know sometimes, like, what's Ramufta?
Right.
For dinner, but what is it, right?
Yeah.
Vedic name. I mean, what is that? But that's why, by the way, the dialogue is hard to remember. Because
Yeah.
it's not always like just a straight, it was like me memorizing my high school boyfriend's last name, how to spell it. So it was like learning how to spell Mississippi,
Yeah.
They're just over and over, Missi, SSIPPI,
Yeah.
So I can spell it. So, things like that in the scripts would throw you. But playing towards Zyial it gave me an opportunity to be limitless and to just, think about everything from a very different perspective than what we experience on the earth.
Yeah.
We have such finite ideas of things, but you didn't have to have it in that role. You could, you could get excited about things that weren't even worthy of it. So it was fun. It was really fun. And it was a shame that the makeup was that hard on me.
Did it do damage?
It gave me really bad headaches.
Oh, gosh.
Burned. The wig was heavy. It was laborious for me. It didn't.
Wow.
It was not easy, which is why I was like, oh, kill me, but it was a shame because I really not only did I enjoy the character, but it's a wonderful cast of people.
Yeah.
Very true thespians.
Yeah.
You can't just walk on to shows like Star Trek because you're pretty.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have a theatrical quality, which is really lovely.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I know, Michael Dorn talked about coming onto the Deep Space Nine set from TNG and it being, because TNG was this like jokey, hilarious, and they were always like, goofing off. And then he went on to Deep Space Nine and it was like, he was like, oh, we're like serious here. This is a
Experian. You know what I mean?
There's
yeah. Experian vibe to it.
Yeah. So you had the benefit of getting to come back a few times. So did you find like initially was it very like very serious, or did you?
I guess I didn't have any other Star Trek to compare it to. Remember, I started on As the World Turns.
Right. Yeah.
As the World Turns, that they were true thespians. Like, you're talking Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
You're talking Billy Fichtner. You were talking Marissa Tomei, Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
We had, Liz Hubbard, Larry Brigman, Frost.
And they're working.
Like they are going from winning Tonys to, winning Emmys. And like, you don't mess up there. Don't mess up there. And I mean that. Like, once because you're new, you learn very fast. You don't mess up again. And it's not because you're going to get fired. It's because you feel the tone of lack of professionalism. And it's like coming into contact with the deepest level of disrespect. Like you realize you are at the root of disrespect and it feels horrible. Like when I was on World Turns, there were a few of us that became the A team. So when things got held up, they always said, all right, get the A team. They'll make up the hour.
Right.
Right. Put them at the end of the day. And I really prided myself, never missing a line, never missing a mark. right? Doing a costume change in 25 minutes, coming out. Like
Yeah.
that was like production value in a way.
Yep.
Yeah.
That made it more live than the live it was.
Yeah.
Because it was recorded, but it was very much, it was 3 cameras. So we played straight through, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't quarter of a page, you know, fourth of a page.
Yes.
It wasn't like 7 different camera angles. You just went straight through. So I learned on that set, working with these great thespians, seriously, you know your stuff or go home.
Amazing.
And if you didn't know your stuff more than once, and I have to say, like, I never didn't know my lines from the day one. I never didn't know none of that. But I did not, as I made clear earlier, I didn't know how to act that well at the beginning.
Right.
That's why I think I put so much pressure on myself. Because I was mirrored back was people who did great work.
Right.
And I had to reach that level. So going on to Deep Space Nine, you know, and working with Andrew, who I had done,
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
I did Trancers 3 with Andrew.
Oh, no way.
Oh.
And I knew then that he was like legit.
Yeah.
And it's like such a professional and such a kind soul. I was really blessed to work with him. And, but yeah, I mean, you're talking about people who want to be in the business because of a craft, not people that want to be celebrities.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I always say to my clients anywhere in life, like, I know people struggle to be important and to be famous and to be celebrities, but if you're really, really lucky in this life, you'll get to be an artist at what it is you love. That's true mastery in life, is to truly be in alignment with what you love and not seek external validation. So working with that bunch on Deep Space Nine was an honor. They were a great group of thespians.
Oh, that's wonderful. So it was like you got there and you're like, oh, these are my people. This is like, I know this. Oh, wow.
It felt very comfortable.
That's great. Oh,
It is great. It's great to be on a set where it's about the work and not something else.
And to still have like interpersonal grace where people were laughing at you. It wasn't like,
yeah.
Even when I went on to Seinfeld, people were like, oh, I just want to warn you, it's a tough crowd. They're so tight.
I'd heard that. Yeah.
And I loved them. It was, you know, there was like a certain approach moment where I was like, all right, dudes, I'm here. This is the way I see things. And they were like, and then it's sort of like a click, and I had a blast. And then Jerry called me at home and said, if we write for you, will you stay?
Oh, nice.
I was like, yeah, sure. Why not?
Amazing.
Why not?
Wonderful. Yeah.
Man.
Great. Oh.
Great group, though. Really, really great group on Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, I mean, Melissa has had the chance to meet more of them, I think, than I have. But yeah, by all accounts, just the loveliest group of people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Aaron Nog on Deep Space Nine was my late husband. So the cast has been incredible in it. I don't know. I feel very fortunate to know these people and to have had any sort of relationship with them because they are so genuine and giving in their time and their empathy and love. So, and you're included in that. I don't know how Deep Space Nine managed to do that, but it's such a wonderful cast of people, just not only on screen, because you're also amazingly talented, but off screen especially.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't get to work with the cast in its entirety.
Yeah.
Right.
which is what happens in all shows.
Of course.
Yeah.
You don't, you know, there were people that I worked on every show that I never even got to say hello to. You know,
Yeah.
people think you're all there together, right? It just kind of looks like, but it's not really like that. I mean, I think when you're on shows for years, you know, you do things together that aren't even on air, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And things like that. But yeah, it's a blessing. I was really blessed in the years that I was in the industry to always work on shows that had a level of respect, you know, and people admired the shows for different reasons,
Yeah.
and they were top notch. You know, I was very, very blessed to
When
have
you
that.
talked, oh, sorry, when you talked about how you turned down more than you accepted, did that play a factor in that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like there were some shows that I thought that they were going to put questionable messaging into the world. You know, I watch shows today, probably 70 to 80% of them that I would have turned down because
oh wow.
I don't think they're dignified. I think,
Right.
you know, my friends will say like you have the morals of a general, you know, and I can't live against them. So if I think I'm going to be the messenger of something that I don't believe in, that's a responsibility.
Yeah.
Right.
Stop it from going out into the world, but I don't have to contribute to it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and just sometimes, you know, my agents would say to me sometimes, will you just go meet with them? And I'd say, no, I don't want to do the show.
Yeah.
At the script. Well, maybe they'll write around you, and well, maybe they will, but the whole theory of the show,
Yeah.
say it's like misogynistic, right? I don't want
Right.
that. Or, you know, there are shows that really change the way women look at themselves today. And I don't know, I
Right.
just, yeah, that I would rather do a show that was really meaningful to me, that was less
Yeah.
than a show, right, that I don't know, just stands for something that goes against what my spirit believes,
Yeah.
you know, for monetary gain. So yeah. And
Which is
believe
so
me, my
important.
agents were not happy with me.
You bet. You
They
bet.
weren't happy with me when I left.
Yeah.
It's a
They're
Yeah.
long
like, sorry,
time.
what?
It takes a long time to get to a place in the industry where you're offered things.
Yeah.
Right.
And my agents were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I need to raise my son.
Yeah.
Like, I will never do anything more important than this. So,
Yeah.
and I never
Oh.
really had the impetus to get back into the flow of it. You know, casting directors have come up to me at this Star Trek conventions a few times and said, like, would you come back into the industry if the right
Yeah.
role? And I said, you
Yeah.
know, right there, those are the key words, the right role.
The right role. Right.
And you know, so if, like I said, you know, if you're coming to me and saying, you know, Succession, I'll take the
Yeah.
call. Not
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
anything is down my door, don't get me wrong, but I'm blessed that I don't need anyone to like, right? Like I created a life where I can live a life of joy and choose what it is that I create in the world.
Yeah.
Yay. Love that.
Oh.
So, how would people find you, and what are you doing now? And where would people find you working
Yeah.
on what are you working on now?
So two things. I had just released a jazz album that I recorded with.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was up for Grammy
fun.
consideration. But that was with some of really the most unbelievable musicians, the same musicians who won the Grammy for Gaga and Tony Bennett's album.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So finished that, and that's been really a beautiful, you know, something to add to my coffers, which was really fun. But you can find all of the stuff, the book, the album, and my work today. I work one-on-one, I work group coaching programs. I'm putting together some trainings to train people, but my website is workwithmelaniesmith.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Melanie Smith Official. I can't get onto my Facebook account anymore, so I'm not I don't care about, I care about people. I don't care about social media very much.
Right.
And I almost swim against it a little bit.
Sure.
I don't want to. Somebody was saying, oh my God, today somebody sent me a meme, or is that what they're called? When it's like, is that a meme?
Either a meme or a GIF. If it's
so
moving,
it's not
it's a
loop, but it was like a video of someone talking about the original Star Trek, and he said, "Do you remember when they landed on the planet and they found a computer, and they thought it was God?"
Yeah.
And he's like, he's like, and today it's algorithm, and the algorithm did this, and the algorithm brought me that, and right. I don't do that. I'm just sort of, I'm available on Instagram. I answer all of my messages on Instagram.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
I know.
I just, but I am somehow booted off my Facebook account.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They need all these they need more data on me to let me in, and I'm like, I don't know, Mark.
Yeah.
So Melanie Smith Official on Instagram. I am on LinkedIn. I don't think I've ever been on it. And,
Me too.
Same.
yeah, I mean, I have no idea what that platform is about. I am not on. I think I had a Twitter account, but I haven't even looked at it since it's been Twitter. But I am on Instagram, Melanie Smith Official, and workwithmelaniesmith.com.
Awesome.
So,
Nice.
you can find
Yes.
me.
And we will put the link to your website in the description box below, as well as the link to the next video in the description box below. So stay tuned for that. I think we have a few more minutes left to play here.
Well, what do you want to know?
Everything. Are you an artist? I mean, you have kind of an artist eye. So do you draw, paint, do any kind of...
Wish I do have an artist's eye. I just don't, I can see art, I can't paint it. I can hear music, I can't play it.
Right.
I have the soul of an artist.
Clearly.
If I took some lessons, I'd get better, but I'm not a natural. You guys are naturals, right? I was watching the Grammys, and there's this kid, Benson Boone, who was right? And I remember him auditioning for American Idol and going I just started singing a year ago. That's another thing. That's another animal, right? You guys have a gift. I could sort of skididdle around the world of truck, but it would not be anything worth mentioning. Or showing.
So what do you? What's your what's your thing that lights you up? What's your this is something I'm asking people lately.
I love that.
The human condition. My art is helping people find their mastery.
Oh,
that is what I love. Every day I get to sit with people who truly want, I always say there is a life of meaning living under the one you're living right now, if you're feeling that whole. And so my work with people is to get them on track to their true authentic life so that they have a life mastery. I am so blessed that if you were to fly over my life, you wouldn't know when I was working or playing. You couldn't tell.
That is wonderful. That's so
my thing is people and souls and the human condition, human pattern. I live physics, just like you do as artists.
Mm.
You find symmetry, you find patterns, right?
Mhm.
You do that through the archetype of the artist. I do that through the archetype of the healer.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ah, there is art in that too. There
Definitely.
is a lot of art in that.
Hmm.
Creative energy. That's what I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
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 Good question.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Good question,
Great
sister.
question.
Well,
Great
yeah, it's
question.
something right now. I'm really interested in, number one, just hearing what other people do that, that brings them joy, but also like I'm trying to remind people of what they do that brings
Yeah.
them joy too. It's sort of like
Sure.
I'm trying to do right now, you know?
Better
Yeah.
question,
Mm.
right? It's a better question. Like, what is it that's in you that illuminates you, as opposed to like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that whole kind of mastery of living in flow. And
Hmm.
when you're
Uh-huh.
in flow, it's aligned with mission. So
Hmm.
Mm. Mm, love
I say
that.
all the time, what is it you can't not do? Right? Like,
Ooh,
I must help people. I get
I
it.
love that.
That's that. I can't not do that.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
Ah.
part of my
Well,
flow.
I love that. And we should end there
Okay.
because it's such a wonderful, positive
Oh my God.
place to end. And
Mhm.
yes, we love you, Melanie Smith.
We
Well, I'm
do.
speaking for
I'm
Jenny right now.
back.
We
And
love you,
rightly, yes,
Melanie
please
Smith.
do.
Thank you for all that you do and what you bring to the world and for
Mhm.
loving people, because I do think we need that more, the loving of people
Yes, we do.
rather than the opposite.
Mhm.
Um,
Learned it
and
from Zyial.
oh, I love that.
Mhm.
Thank you for what you do and having a format for people to share their hearts and their dreams.
Mhm.
That.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Loving you back. Loving y'all back.
Ah. Oh. Oh my gosh.
Well, folks
Stay
in the
virtual.
live chat, virtual TrekCon, thank you for being here and thank you for always showing up and supporting virtual TrekCon and Star Trek and trying to live these values too. Then
Mhm.
the IDIC, live long and
Exactly.
prosper, all of that wonderful stuff. Um, enjoy the rest of the convention, and we love you guys too. And
Thanks.
thanks for being here.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.